Good evening. Welcome to this very special edition of Tuesday Night Rotor Talk Live, episode 20. We're going to get into things here in just a minute. And I'd like you guys to pause the chat, if I can, for a minute. Steve's here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hang on just a second here. Let me get my ducks lined up in a row.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, good evening. I'm going to get you on in just a second.
No worries.
Well, Steve, good evening tonight. How are you doing tonight?
Great. I just got an error. Is that from you?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Let me go ahead and get this squared away here. I think we should be good now. Wanted to let everybody know tonight, I have a very special guest on tonight for Tuesday Night Rotor Talk Live. As you all know, Hurricane Florence is getting ready to wreak some havoc in the Carolinas and Virginia. And I received an instant message from Janelle McVeigh from Florida Drone Supply asking me if I could put the word out about needing some pilots. And so I sure did. I got them on all my groups and I posted them out on Facebook and on Twitter. And I asked if she or Michael could be on. They could not, but Steve could. And Steve is one of the co-owners of Florida Drone Supply / Sky Source Imaging. Am I right there?
Sky Source Aerial.
Sky Source Aerial. Okay, thank you. So Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and then this disaster response here.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having us on and spreading the word to allow us to help those that are going to be in need and assisting. As you know, Hurricane Irma came through Florida last year, and we learned a lot of lessons from Hurricane Irma and how to effectively utilize small unmanned aerial systems. And so Florida Drone Supply is the retail product side of it that Janelle and I own. And Sky Source Aerial is the services side of it. So some people get confused about that, but their sister companies, Florida Drone Supply does the product sales, and Sky Source Aerial does the services part of that. So as I mentioned previously, we learned a fair amount of lessons from Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Harvey in Texas. And we wanted to utilize our network. We have a pilot network of over 500 pilots around the United States, and we wanted to leverage them so we can mobilize them to help with the recovery efforts for Hurricane Florence.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, and I think I saw a little bit, did you grow up in the Pittsburgh area?
Actually, I did not grow up in the Pittsburgh area. I actually grew up in Southwest Florida in Naples.
Okay. So one of the things that I had the pleasure of being able to go down and talk with Janelle and go down to the store, and she gave both my wife and I a wonderful tour of the place and the training that you have available there. I'm going to want to talk about more about the disaster response first, and then I want to talk about your training that you offer there at the physical store. So, what exactly are you looking for in terms of a need for this disaster response, Steve?
So, as it stands right now, we have the ability to pretty much utilize every available pilot. The requirements for the pilots are they have to have a current Part 107. and they have to have a minimum of a 20 megapixel camera. So a P4 Pro, an Inspire 2, the new Mavic 2 with the 1-inch sensor. So the training that's required for the hurricane or event relief effort is actually on-the-job training. When we show up, then the training is provided at that time, which is separate from the training that SkySource Aerial does for other types of verticals, such as telecom, cell tower inspections, and then also utilities and power line inspections as well.
So, Steve, as far as like the areas that are affected in terms of a timetable, are people going to be heading out ahead of the storm, or is this a scenario where we wait until after the storm, find out where the areas are, and then have people sent there?
Actually, the answer to that is both. We have already mobilized people in the projected affected states. So we have pilots in our pilot network that are on board and are basically hunkered down in the South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia states. And so they're on standby right now. And then additional pilots, they will be mobilized once the storm passes. The centers of location for the pilots will be determined later once we have a better idea as far as where the actual hurricane path is going to strike landfall.
Yeah, I know you mentioned, and this is a good thing because it probably opens it up to more pilots. I myself just recently got a Mavic 2 Pro, and this opens it up to a wider swath of people being able to do this. So interested to know, as far as like this on-the-job training, this is something that is going to be totally new to a lot of people. I myself, I have my Part 107, and I've done a lot of flying, dozens and dozens of hours of flying. But this is something that's unlike anything that you've done before. Can you kind of walk us through what this on-the-job training is going to be like for these pilots that show up?
Absolutely. So excellent question. And there's different training for the different missions. As we talked about originally, there's the telecom training, which is cell towers. So after the storm passes and the pilots are aggregated, there will be probably, if it's the same as what happened with Hurricane Irma and then Harvey also, or Harvey then Irma, we have about a half a day of training and go over shot sheets. So it goes over safety procedures, helmets, vests, identification, etc. And normally you're in a two-man team. Not always, but normally you have a visual observer as well. So you go through training, and then they send you out on it and check your work at the end of each day. That's for telecom. And then for the utilities and power lines, you usually get assigned to a lineman or somebody with a truck, and you go out and just check to see for downed power poles and vegetation encroachment, etc., that the trucks are not able to navigate. So last year, when Hurricane Irma came through, we were able to utilize the drones for many miles and let the power companies understand the status of it, because they could not get there through the trucks were not able to navigate there. So we saw a rapid efficiency for utilization of drones in the recovery of power to the affected people.
I know one of the things, and I'd spoken with Janelle, and she kind of told me a little bit about what you did during Irma, and it was a godsend for you guys being able to do that, and for Harvey as well. And I guess one of my questions was, a lot of people are going to be fleeing the storm, and a lot of people are going to be occupying hotels and away from their homes. How are arrangements made to get these pilots, a place to stay, as far as that's concerned?
That's an excellent question. And unfortunately, or fortunately, this is not our first rodeo, so to speak. And so several of the pilots, many of the pilots, have already opened up their homes or have accommodations outside of the zone to where other pilots can stay. Additionally, the large telecom players and power companies, they have entire hotel rooms booked. So going back to last year, we used a combination of both. We used a combination of people's residence and homes to house pilots, and then also there were entire hotels that were utilized for the drone pilots. So it's a combination of both, and it's important, I think, to let the people know that it has been thought about. And I won't say it's perfect. I won't say that it's not. There aren't long lines and that it's not hot and sweaty. But we do think it's admirable and honorable work to help people recover from the storm.
You know, I know Janelle showed me, and it was the first time I saw the Inspire 2 power bank at the store, and it just kind of blew me away with its capabilities. And she was telling me how, you know, that was utilized during Irma. You know, and I know there'll be other types of drones that will be there. P4s, you know, the new Mavic 2s, and so forth. Do you make any provisions as far as, you know, electricity will be at a premium? So do you make any provisions to be able to charge batteries as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, so what you'll find is that, as you mentioned, electricity or power is crucial, not just for charging the drone batteries, but just for communications in general, and air conditioning, and just having equipment work in general. And most of the power trucks, all of the power trucks that we worked with, had 110 outlets in order to utilize them. So the trucks themselves have generators on them. And then myself and my teammate, we had our own generator. And so we had a little Honda generator. And then we were able to utilize the battery charging stations in order to maintain electricity. So it's a combination of, and then the locations where the tents are and the where everybody's congregated, they have power there as well, and air conditioning and hot water and showers and food. And frankly, it was rather impressive. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised at how organized they were.
So how long, in terms of a, if you want to call them shifts, you work? Because, you know, I know myself, you know, I'm 60, and, you know, eyes start to get a little tired, and physically you get a little start to tired, and, you know, it's going to be in pretty adverse conditions, probably high humidity, probably some heat, probably a lot of rain, wind, that type of thing. So how long of a shift do you think is really would be workable for somebody, and to keep, you know, to keep at their top form to be able to fly?
That's an excellent question, and I will state from experience that they were exceptionally accommodating. As I mentioned, if you're in a with the power truck, then they have the air conditioning and hydration and food and all of that. With the telecom, you're not going out with a power truck per se, but the food and the water and ice and the necessities are provided. But I would say that they're very accommodating. If you're with a power company, you're in relatively nice conditions. And if you're with telecom, it's however many towers that you can get to that you feel comfortable with. So if you get tired, you can take a break, you can go get some food, you can say you're done for the day. And the other aspect of that is, which you didn't ask about, but how long is it? And we don't have an answer for you, because it's how big is the storm? Does it stall at the landfall? Is it flooding? Is it wind damage? How far inland does it go? But we were during Hurricane Irma, we were out for about 8 days. And so people have the ability to say, okay, I can work the effort for 5 days. Other people say we're there for the duration. We have 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't think it'll be longer than 3 weeks. I think, based on the storm's latest projections, it will probably be longer than 5 days. So, you know, hurricanes are very unpredictable.
You know, everything that I've been seeing, I work for public supermarkets, and we get up to the date information on hurricane status, because it's important for our stores. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, you know, the impact of the storm. It sounds like, from everything I'm reading, there's going to be a lot more flooding, and you know, it's going to be, I think, probably even a little bit more imperative. And this is a question that, being that I'm a stickler for following FAA guidelines and rules, and I have a YouTube channel, and one of the things that I see is really frustrates me is when people are doing range tests and they're going out there at 10,000, 14,000, way beyond visual line of sight, which, unless you get an exception from the FAA, that's against the rules. So, how do the rules play into this, Steve? I think that's one of the things that I really had a question on.
There's two aspects of that. We've been hearing that because of all of the unauthorized drone activity and previous disasters or events, particularly in the wildfires in California, but some in Hurricane Irma, that there's a fair amount of TFRs that are going to be in place, temporary flight restrictions from the airspace. However, we are also of the understanding that the power companies and the telecom companies will have waivers or exemptions to that. So even though there will be TFRs, we do believe that there will be waivers or exemptions to that. With that being said, we are not asking anybody to violate any law or any regulation at all. And so you talk about, doing testing for way beyond visual line of sight. We do not encourage that. We do not recommend it. We don't do any of that. What I do say is, in order to get that kind of range, some of our pilots have equipment that's capable of, say you have an M200 series, a 210 or 200 with the Z30 on there, with the 30 times zoom, you can really see a long ways down the line, especially if you're at 300 feet AGL. So we do not encourage anything against the rules or regulations, and nobody has asked us to do that either. I want to be perfectly clear with that. The power companies are saying it was new to them. They did not ask us. They did ask us what are the regulations, and we educated them from that standpoint. But we are not asking. We're definitely not asking anybody to do anything against the law or against the regulations.
One of the things for me, Steve, is, I would love to be able to participate in something like this, but, unfortunately, you have to take vacation time. Employers are not really kind of on the understanding side, if you will, to be able to do that. And, and I know a lot of people have a good amount of vacation to take. As far as some of us who, how can we help? Is there a way? Is there somewhere we could donate, or is there just anything that we can do as Part 107 pilots who can't actually go to help you guys out?
That's an excellent question. And for the Part 107 pilots that are not able to actively participate, we're trying to put together that exact effort. It has not been asked of us from anybody, but as one of the, industry leaders, or one of the industries that have the experience, I should say, we're trying to leverage our network. As I mentioned, that we have over 500 pilots. We have a couple hundred of them that want to go fly in the effort. Now, some of them are in California and Ohio, and some of them are making the trek. Some of them aren't. But we want to make sure that we leverage the skill sets and the expertise. And we haven't put together an exact package yet, but we think tapping into that knowledge base will be can be very powerful. But I don't have an exact answer for that as of yet.
Okay.
Some people have asked about equipment. There's pilots that are out there that don't have the minimum specs. The specs have increased a little bit from last year. Last year they didn't require 20 megapixel camera. This year they do, etc. So some people are trying to find out, can they borrow or use equipment, not because they're not willing to purchase it, but some of them are having a hard time trying to find locations, find places in order to purchase it. So that's my long-winded answer of saying that we're trying to tap into the network of people wanting and willing to help but aren't able to physically be there on site. And I guess my answer is stay tuned to that. And as it becomes more developed and we have better ideas, it will go out through our communication links.
I know Janelle told me, I mean, the phones have been ringing nonstop, and you guys have just been insanely busy. And I take it from what she said, the best way is to send you guys emails. Is that correct at this point?
Yeah, so I won't call it a shameless plug. What I will say is that if you go to floridadronesupply.com, and at the bottom of it, it says join the network. And if you join the pilot network, that gets put on the mailing list in order to get up-to-date information. And so obviously, we're a small business. We don't have a bank of 20 people just answering the phones. And so we're trying to streamline our communication effort so we have one, one communication stream that goes out. We don't have the time to call everybody back and everything else. But if they're part of the network, I'll call it the pilot network, then they will get updates as they become available.
And probably one of the last things I wanted to talk about here, Steve, is, I know Janelle had mentioned in what she had posted that there will be compensation for these pilots, and which is number one, it's fantastic. For me, I would, if I had a vacation time, I would do it just to do it. I think it's just, to help fellow people out in time of need. I think it's just, you can't get any better than that. But it's icing on top of the cake to be compensated for that. Is this funding provided like by the aerial or by the electric companies and the cell phone companies, or how does that work?
Yeah, so going through our pilot network, I can tell you what we're offering in order to do it. There is much of it is a pass through to the pilots, but it's a $350 mobilization fee. So it's a one-time mobilization fee of $350. And then on standby, so they're not flying yet because they can't due to weather, the storm hasn't passed yet, then they get paid a standby rate of $400 a day. And then when they're actively flying, they get paid $500 a day. And then on top of that, we're paying $100 per diem as well. And we're not exactly sure. We're not breaking down food and hotel and everything else. We're putting in an additional $100 to use as fit. Maybe not everybody will have access to the fuel trucks. Maybe not everybody's staying in the tent or the hotel or et cetera. So rather than trying to tell them what or how to spend the money, we're just giving them the per diem. So it's it's 300.
Well, Steve, that's great. I don't know. I don't know if you can still hear me or not. I don't know. We must have lost connection here. If Steve comes back here, we'll close up as far as this is concerned. Oh, okay. You're still there? Trying to see if Steve's still there. Hang on just a second. Still there, Steve?
I am.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there, but I want to thank you so much. And first of all, I want to thank. I know you're co-owners with Janelle, and and I want to thank you very much because Janelle has just been absolutely fantastic. She let us borrow a Mavic Air to do some testing on it, and she calls it the BillTheDroneReviewer bump because every time you mention Florida Drone Supply, it got attention for her, which I'm always willing to do that, and it was a real treat to be able to go down to physically visit the store, and I brag about her and I brag about you guys and the quality work that you do, and the training that you guys offer. I saw the training facility that you have set up there, which is fantastic. And this is only going to get bigger. It's only going to expand. And, you guys have hit a real niche. I mean, this is something that I think is fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you having us on, and more importantly, for helping spread the word so we can help in the recovery effort. Because as we've gone through hurricane disasters previously, we understand and appreciate and have empathy for those that are going to be going through it. And we appreciate you getting the word out to help everybody.
Well, you're more than welcome, Steve. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate your time tonight. And, please tell Janelle and Michael, thank you very much for all they've done, and yourself as well. And definitely going to stay in touch. And, we'll be looking forward to more communication regarding the disaster response effort here.
Thank you so much. I just have one question for you, Bill.
Sure.
I'm not sure where the lockup happened. I just want to make sure that you were able to hear the rates that we're paying, so people understand that.
Yes.
Okay.
We did hear the rates. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to repost what Janelle had posted in the description, because this live video becomes an actual video out on YouTube. So I'm going to post it in the description along with floridadronesupplies.com and tell people how to access it. So
excellent.
Steve,
well, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming on, and pass on my best to Michael and Janelle.
Absolutely. And we'll be more than happy to provide updates for you as it moves along.
Sounds good. Take care.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Just didn't get a chance to greet everybody like I normally do, but that was Steve Meyer. He's with SkySource Aerial. Sorry, I wanted to get that right. SkySource Aerial, which is also, it's the kind of like the pilot wing of Florida Drone Supply. Florida Drone Supply is the physical store. He's co-owner with Janelle and also her husband, Michael. Oh, Rick, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you guys for being patient here. I wanted to kind of jump into this, and I thought this was important enough. I had gotten pinged today. And welcome to everybody. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to greet all you guys. Steve popped on right away, and I wanted to get going with him because I knew his time was valuable. I do have several things I do want to talk besides this. And if you guys, and I saw Steve Carpenter, you're here. Thank you for moderating as always. I saw Bill Thomas here as well. Thank you. Rick Halver, thank you guys for doing that. Cardasso, Lloyd, thank you for showing up. Drone Shots. Everybody, David Martin, Graf, thank you. Thank you guys. If I haven't called you out, it's not because I haven't seen you. I just wanted to acknowledge a few of you guys on here. Thank you guys so much for showing up tonight. I know I saw Steve Carpenter mention, I work for public supermarkets here in Florida, and we get up-to-the-date weather information because we have stores in North and South Carolina and in Virginia, and we get up-to-date weather information. Thank you, Cardasso. I appreciate that. Absolutely. And it's all for you guys. You guys absolutely, you rock my world. You support the channel. Fantastic. Thank you for your continued support. I can't thank you guys enough for that. That's absolutely, positively fantastic. One of the things I wanted to say, this sounds like this is going to be a hurricane that's going to be unprecedented in terms of flooding. So yeah, that's one of the things that I'm really, really, really thankful about. There's going to be enough warning, and if you are in the warning of, or if you are in the area and they tell you to evacuate, please don't hesitate. We went through this exactly a year ago at this time with Irma, and I can tell you it's not fun. We did not receive an order to evacuate. We don't live in a flood zone. The greater danger for us was from wind, and we had our hurricane shutters up, and actually did very well. So yeah, best thing, you're right, David. It is to stay inside. Button things up. Our homes now in Florida are built out of stucco. They used to be made out of wood. until Andrew hit, and then when Andrew hit, everything changed. We have stucco, concrete block construction, so there's no worries as far as that's concerned. It's just completely different. So again, if you guys live in the Carolinas or Virginia and are in the path, and if they tell you to mandatory evacuate, grab what you can and go. Please don't hesitate. I can tell you that. This is not one you're going to want to ride out. The floods are going to be unprecedented. So make sure you get valuable papers, valuables, get plenty of gas, do everything you can ahead of time. And I can tell you, speaking from experience, we did manage to get gas, but boy, getting water and bread and some basics, 24 to 48 hours ahead of it, it's like next to impossible. There's like empty shelves in the grocery stores. So just kind of my pitch about the hurricane. And if you guys can help out, if you're interested, I will drop a link in the description. You saw FloridaDroneSupply.com. You heard what Steve said. If sign up for the pilot network, and if you sign up for the pilot network, you'll get up-to-date notices regarding this, and they do compensate. Steve Carpenter, thank you so much. That is just absolutely awesome of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I asked Janelle if she could be on, or Michael, and she said Steve can be on tonight. So absolutely, this is the first I've talked to Steve. I've never met him before, but again, my relationship with Florida Drone Supply. I think they're fantastic people. They run a great outfit. They do have and if you watch my video on Florida Drone Supply, they do have on-site training for cell tower inspections there at the store. You do have to be a Part 107. That's their requirement, and and you can find out more about training on their website. But it's fantastic. Now, SkySource Aerial does a whole lot of stuff, and they're like I don't know if they do imaging, they do thermal imaging, they have, and you heard on the Matrice series has a zoom, 30x zoom on it to be able to see things. They do some incredible things. So definitely check them out if you guys get any chance to do that. I think that's absolutely fantastic. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and it's not going to be the Mavic 2 yet, but I promise we will get to that. Yeah, Rick, absolutely. Everybody, just keep all those. I have my wife's sister lives in North Carolina. I have friends from high school and college that live in North Carolina. I have some friends in South Carolina as well. So please keep everybody in your prayers, and pray that, like I said, if you're in the path of this and they tell you to get out, get out. Don't hesitate. Pack up, grab what you can, get out of there. You can always need to get out of there. Okay. Lon, offset laws, any day have, yeah, you do, Lon, you do have to have a Part 107 to be able to do that. That's one of the minimum requirements for that. Okay, want to kind of switch gears here a little bit. Oh, wow. Okay, Lon, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and put this article up on here. Now, I don't know if how many of you guys read Drone DJ every day? I do, from Hey Kesteloo. It is a fantastic source. I look at his Twitter every day, and I look at Sally French's Twitter every day, the drone girl, to get my drone news for the day. And the other day, they had an incredible article, and I'm going to go ahead and try to get the picture up on the screen here. Hang on just a second. But the other day, let me see if I can get this up here. Do a screen share. Okay, got this. Now, the other day, I had this article, DJI Inspire 2 drone shot out of the air in Ohio. Take a look at this, okay? This was pretty, you can tell where it was shot. I mean, this is an Inspire, okay? And it came down. And I mean, it's destroyed. It is gone. It is absolutely, positively gone. Well, it was a great article. And Hay does a great job at finding things like this. That's absolutely, positively fantastic. So what I wanted to talk about was It talked about the article about some of the legal ramifications of this, which I thought was, yeah, birdshot. Yeah, you're right, drone shots. I'm going to read you some excerpts from this, and I kind of want to talk about this because there's some legal ramifications here. According to a post from Rick G on Facebook, his DJI Inspire 2 was shot out of the air by an angry neighbor in Ohio last night. The drone crashed down to earth from about 168 feet high. The aircraft, as you can see in the photo, was heavily damaged as a result. The pilot has a pretty good idea who had shot down the drone. He went to the house and finally got his Inspire 2 back after his neighbor first denied shooting it down. The drone pilot then turned to Facebook for advice. And we're going to kind of skip some of that. But here's the reason that the gentleman shot it down. So this happened tonight shot out of the sky while documenting a bridge construction in my neighborhood. I made a police report, but I'm not sure where they're going to go with it and going to be turning it over to a prosecutor. What can I expect? Now, this is from him talking to the person who shot it. According to the drone pilot, the angry neighbor offered the following explanation for having shot down the aircraft. He didn't like it and thought he had the right over his property and gave me some BS story about his wife being outside sunbathing naked. It was late evening and I would not be spying on her. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Well, you know, he's talking about some of his options: reporting the incident to the FAA, contact the FBI, contact the local police, sue him and take him to small claims court, talk to him and negotiate a gentleman's agreement, prosecute to the full extent of the law. Reading through the advice of various people, it seems that one should not expect too much to happen on a federal level. Perhaps the best results can be achieved by working with the local police first. You know, so he's in a dilemma. He's out a drone. You know, part of the, that's a scary thought. That you're right, David Martin. You're right. I mean, he's out a $5,000 drone, or, you know, I don't know what kind of a camera or lens system he had with that, but, you know, that's a good chunk of change. Inspire 2, as we all know, you know, that's a pretty penny. And what's he going to do? He doesn't, his legal recourse options are, it's kind of gray. Now, I did read some more of the article that I didn't talk to you guys about, but technically it is against the law to shoot at an aircraft, and that's an aircraft per FAA regulations. But like they said, federal wise, he probably isn't going to get anywhere. He's probably going to be best at trying to do something locally, and hopefully where he was flying, you know, again, you know, people, you don't own the airspace up above your house. Okay. You own your physical property, you know, you own the house, the building itself, you own the ground, you don't own the air. Okay. That's, you know, where that kind of stuff goes, or at least, I don't know, so many feet above the house. What do you guys think about this? I mean, hopefully has DJI Care Refresh or State Farm lawn. Yeah, I hope so. But he said, you know, further on down in the article, and I'm going to go ahead and post a link to it. He said that he doesn't have, you know, he's a hobbyist. He's like us. He's not a professional with this, and he does it. He enjoys it. He goes out and he does his thing, you know, like all of us do. But it doesn't sound like, he didn't say anything about insurance or DJI Care Refresh. I don't know. He basically sounds like he's out of a drone, and he said he can't do anything until this is remediated. So, you know, this is a real sticky area. This is a real, you know, I don't know, where do you go with something like this? You know, I've had people at work ask me, I had one of my coworkers ask me, he's had a drone fly over his house, and he asked me what I should do. You know, and I told him, well, he actually lives in a county where their sheriff's very proactive, and I told him, I said, you know, you probably need to videotape it and then call the sheriff's department up and show them the videotape and do something like that. That would be the recourse, you know, as far as, you know, what I recommended to my coworker to do that. I mean, you know, so yeah. Yeah, Mel, you're right. It is. It's a federal offense. I mean, you can't, I mean, I don't know. Once the state's attorney gets the case, he must turn it over to the federal authorities. for shooting an aircraft down is a federal crime and could bring a 20-year sentence. I hope so, Mel. I really feel for this guy because it sounds like all he was doing, he was trying to film a bridge under construction per the story here, you know, and then the neighbor makes up this wild story. You know, apparently it was evening, it was dusk. Who's sunbathing at dusk? Okay, I don't know. Especially up in Ohio, the weather's kind of starting to turn. And lately up in Ohio, it's been rather rainy up there. So I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this. I mean, you know, I know Mel's right, but you know, I hope for his sake that somebody does something about it. That's a lot. I mean, he's out a lot of money. I mean, he's out quite a bit of money from this. I mean, it just, I don't know. I don't know. You can't fire a gun within city limits. Yeah, does the guy know if it was actually loitering over the guy's house or when fought? You know, Mike, that's an excellent question. You know, it didn't say in the article about that where actually the drone was when it was shot down. Apparently it ended up on the other gentleman's property. So, you know, maybe he was over the property, but who knows? I mean, this is just one of those can of worms that you open up here that wow. But Mel's right as far as, you know, firing on an aircraft like that. I mean, that's a federal offense. I mean, but trying to get prosecuted, wow, that's going to be good luck and God bless on that. Wow, I just absolutely positively don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Ted 10. I don't know. I mean, you know, I know myself when I take off, you know, in the backyard and I'm going out over the lake. I mean, you know, it's nice because there's nobody out there knocking on my door. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm flying over the lake, okay? And you saw my performance test. My performance test was all over the lake. I mean, there wasn't even any birds or, you know, anything on the lake as far as, you know, we never have anybody goes out on that lake. I don't know why. Well, there's no power craft that are allowed on there except for the owner of the lake. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of these things that's really kind of funny. I just don't know. So we'll see. Okay. Next subject. We're gonna kind of move on here. One of the things that I've been hearing a lot of people asking about is this DJI monitor that's supposed to be coming out for the Mavic 2. Yeah, patrolling the neighborhood. Yeah, hood. Yeah. I don't know about that. But, you know, for me, one of these things that, you know, as far as this monitor is concerned, you know, I know they've showed some pictures of it, and I know they actually showed some pictures. The gentleman who did the presentation after Michael, where he went up to Greenland. Do you guys remember that part during the See the Bigger Picture event? It showed some still pictures on the boat, and on the boat it showed that remote. Now it wasn't on, you really didn't see a whole lot. You saw it on the boat as they were going out. So, you know, I don't know. And I think if it's going to happen, excuse me, I got to stretch my feet here for a second. You know, if that does happen, I think it's going to be coming up in a November kind of time frame, in time for the holidays. I don't see that happening before then. If it does, one of the things I was actually thinking about when it would happen would be it would coincide with maybe when they release the Mavic 2 Enterprise. And I firmly believe in that. I've had a lot of questions about that as well too. And I firmly believe the Mavic 2 Enterprise is going to be a soft release. Just from the top of my head, you know, they're not going to have a full-on release like they did with the Mavic 2 Pro and the Zoom. It'll be a soft release. they'll put it out on the website, put out a video about it. And I think probably maybe at the same time, they may do that remote as well too. Now, one of the things I did get a lot of people saying, how much do I think the remote's going to be? Well, the remote by itself, the way it is right now, is $350. I'm saying you're looking at $650, $700 to get that with a built-in monitor, especially if it's going to be like a crystal sky with the bright nits so you can be able to see that in the sunlight. Yeah. So, I don't know about that. Spending $700 for that, especially when you have, now, granted, some people may want to get it because of the novelty of this, which I think's great. But for me, myself, I'm going to save $700 for my next drone. Just for granted, just that way. But some people are going to want it because of having the crystal sky and having the ability to be able to take it out, not have to look over a hood, to be able to see your screen, and that's important for some people. So for that kind of money, it might work with all DJI drones. Then it might be worth it. Yeah, David, you could be right. They could make it where it could work with other, with like maybe the Mavic Air, supposedly. I don't know. That would be nice if they had that feature, if they had the ability to be able to make that remote work with other drones. I don't know, and that would be nice, but that's something that may be coming up. Wanted to talk also about the 30-minute format. I'm going to kind of shy away from that a little bit because I was getting a little bit of feedback from that, and people are really enjoying the 45 minutes to an hour. So we're kind of continue with that. I just want to kind of keep it a little more structured in terms of topics. And I know you guys ask a lot of questions, and you guys do fantastic in chat. And moderators, thank you so much for doing a great job in the chat. And thank everybody in the chat as well too. I appreciate that. One of the things that I'm really, has anybody seen DJI put out, Bill Thomas from Coast to Coast Drones, let me know about this. Thank you, Bill. He put out and let me know that DJI is coming out with a hard case for the Mavic 2. And of course, it's out of stock. They just kind of released it, but it says out of stock. So I hit the email reminder for that. Have you guys seen that case at all? And I'm interested, if you've seen it, is this something that you want to get? I think it's $89, which for a hard-sided case sounds fantastic. Maybe DJI got a deal on a huge shipment of crystal sky and want to sell them off. You could be right, Steve. I don't know. I absolutely don't know. But the only thing that I really didn't like with the Fly More kit is that bag. I can tell you this, it's okay on a temporary basis. Permanent going forward, I need to have something. I really don't have anything. It's nice because I'm flying at the house. I can just grab it off where I keep it in my spare bedroom. Just grab it off the table, and it's ready to go all the time. But for when we're going out and shooting somewhere else on location, putting in that bag, it's okay. It's not the greatest though. So just kind of want to let you guys know that. So yeah, that hard-sided case is going to be coming out. It's $89. I put my name down. So when it comes up and it's available, boom, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we order that. Apache cases from Harbor Freight Line, fraction of the price of most name brand. I will. Thank you, Harry. That's a good tip. Appreciate that. Yeah, Steve, you're right. That bag is useless. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. You know what? It's okay to haul accessories around it. And spare accessories is what it's really good for. Even if you don't have anything else in there, it's still a tight fit for the drone. And it was that way with the Mavic Pro as well. So I was kind of hoping that DJI would have made it a little better, bigger. So I don't know. I don't know about that. Now I did see that, accessories are starting to come out like nobody's business right now for the Mavic 2. I saw landing gear. I think PGY Tech, has gotten a lot of stuff out there. Got some landing gear out there. some other things. Oh, I know what I meant to tell you guys. I was out just doing some testing before I shot my video the other day, and it was at night right before the landing light coming on. Boom! It was incredible how much it lighted the area. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to use the landing lights. It was at dusk out there, and boy, I'll tell you, it was like daytime down there. It was so bright. You know, yeah, and I'll do a video on that. And I talked to one of my friends, Ian Jones from over in the UK. He's probably not watching tonight, but if you're watching the replay, he told me he set up on his remote one of the buttons to turn on the landing lights like that. I think I'm going to be doing the same thing. That is just so unbelievably cool, and how bright it is. I mean, it is like daytime bright. I mean, seriously, like daytime bright down there. It's just absolutely fantastic. I'm going to kind of wrap things up. Want to let you guys know on September 29th at 4:30 at the tower here in Tampa, Original Dobo and Billy Kyle are hosting a fly-in, and I'm hoping to see a lot of you guys there. You know, I'll post a link in the description for it, and there's an RSVP, and it goes to Ken, and there's going to be refreshments provided, but it's going to be great. You're going to get a chance to meet. If you haven't met Ken, he's fantastic. Billy's going to be there. Oh, you know, our idol, our hero. No. No, and you get to meet Valerie too. Oh, I know what I meant to tell you guys, just to sidetrack a little bit. DJI came out with their video about the event and the people at the event. Got to see Billy in there. Got to see Rick Smith. They actually talked to Rick Smith in there, which was great. Valerie got on camera. Me got the outline of my face. Somebody else was kind of like in the view of the camera right in front of me, so you kind of like barely got the front of my face in there. But I can say I guess I made the video. It's a good video. They did a great job on that. And, it's just, you guys, DJI does a first class presentation there. Anyway, getting back to the fly-in. It's gonna be on September 29th at 4:30 at the tower here in Tampa. It is a great place to fly. It used to be a drive-in theater next to it, and there is Ken Dono, Original Dobo, told me there's a lot of FPV racers go over there and do a lot of racing. Actually, one of my friends from work went there last weekend to fly and flew around the tower, and he said it was an incredible place to fly. And what's nice is it's like there's nobody there, nobody to bother you, which is fantastic. It just, you couldn't ask for a better location, you know. And I know Mel enjoyed it when he was there as well too with Original Dobo. So yeah, if you guys can make it, if you're within a couple hours of us, or if you're in the Florida, Tampa area, definitely check that out. I'll have a link in the description so you guys can get on board here. It's going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, be careful. You're right back from the sky. You know, I think we're going to have to, I think Ken is probably going to set up some things. You know, you probably don't want to get up more than a couple of drones at the same time, because you don't want to run into interference issues, you know, not only in terms of signals, but also, you know, the possibility of crashing into one another is good too. A nice thing is I'm going to be there with my truck, and I have a 110 volt outlet in the back of my truck, so we'll be able to charge batteries up, which will be a good thing as well too. So that's kind of where we're at. I got some great videos coming up. Let me tell you guys, hyperlapse, wow. That's my word for hyperlapse. So I got a video coming up on that as well. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. I could not be more pleased with hyperlapse, and the quality of the video. I am very impressed with that. I've shot video in 1080. I've shot video in 4K. You know, I'm very pleased, and I don't have filters yet. You know, that's one of the things I'm waiting for payday. When payday hits, I'm gonna get filters. So I have a question for you guys, and it's a question of the day. And what I want you to do is, not in the chat, but after the video posts out on YouTube, to put this out there in the comment section. This is my question of the day. Filters for your Mavic Pro, okay? Mavic 2 Pro or Mavic 2 Zoom. it's kind of a two-part thing. Number one, are you going to get filters? And number two, what kind of filters are you going to get? So that's the questions of the day. And put them in the comment section after the video post. One, what kind of filters are you going to get filters? Okay. And number two, what kind of filters are you going to get? So for me, I'm getting DJI filters. You know, I know I talked to Ken, and he is just very pleased with his that he got for the Zoom. Very, very, very pleased with those. So again, you know, going back to like a 45-minute format, and at suggestion of one of my great subscriber, Steve Carpenter, I'm going to be throwing out some surveys for you guys from SurveyMonkey, just to kind of get a feel for some things, so I can make sure that these Tuesday night Rotor Talk lives and Sunday afternoon Rotor Talk lives are geared for you guys, because that's why I do that. I absolutely do that. And also to, you know, I would be remiss not to, I want to pause for a moment here. I'm going to go ahead and, if you can excuse me for a second, I'm going to go ahead and bring up a picture. And what I would like for you guys to do at this moment, let me get that picture up. Hang on here. Close that window. Close that as well. You know, today is for those of us here in the States, today is a very solemn day in our country's history. We're kind of speechless. And I want you guys to pause for a moment before I close tonight's episode to remember all those who lost their lives in the World Trade Center, at the Pentagon, at Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and also remember our 4 brave Americans who lost their lives in Benghazi on 9/11/2012 as well. They all gave the ultimate sacrifice. So I'm going to go ahead, excuse me for a second. I'm going to go ahead and put them up on the screen here for a minute. So if you guys just want to pause for a moment. That picture was from September 10th, 2011. It was the last known picture of the World Trade Center. I just wanted to close with that. It's a very solemn day in our history, and a lesson that we should never, ever, ever forget. And one thing, guys, for those of us here in the States, and I apologize if I'm sounding kind of down. I don't mean to sound down. It's a very reflective time for us, and it's really, I'm sure you guys overseas can appreciate the fact when you've had terrorist events hit your nation. This was something that really hit all of us as Americans. It united us, and that's one of the things that I think we need to do. We need to get back and be united. We're all Americans. Let's enjoy this. And I'm gonna close with this. One of the things I really enjoy about flying drones, it unites all of us. It's a real incredible real incredible thing to be able to share this joy and this love of drones, not only with subscribers here in the States, but around the world, the UK, over in Europe, Australia, all you guys. Thank you guys so much. It unites us. This is something that unites us. And remember, guys, you know, look for things that unite and not divide. Everything, everything here is just, life is precious to all of us, and let's enjoy it. And it really is, and I close my videos now with "It's a great day to fly," because it is a great day to fly. And you can always, enjoy that fact. And it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic for me as well too. So sorry I don't mean to end on a down note or a somber note here. I just want you guys, thank you for giving me the time to do this and to reflect on this. And let's enjoy things. Let's enjoy, a great community of subscribers here and drone enthusiasts, and let's enjoy this wonderful hobby that we have. We really enjoy it. Everybody is having a great time. So let's keep this up. And remember, it's a great day to fly. I will see you guys next Tuesday night. We had Sunday afternoon Rotor Talk Live last week. Got some great videos coming up on the Mavic 2. And in a couple of weeks, we got September 29th fly-in with Original Dobo and Billy Kyle. So guys, remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care.